To work on this build, another live stream, but first I gotta clean up a little bit. I got to play a game of Necromunda last night. It's quite fun. It's a very granular game. The new one is much more granular than the old one, so it did take a while, but it was quite enjoyable. Definitely like all the weird variants that's in it, but so I did stay up too late playing Necromunda is what I'm saying. So if I trail off or I start to space, it's because I'm actually pretty tired, and I was thinking about just going right back to bed, but I wanted to build stuff. So curse of wanting to build stuff. So this guy's actually looking really good. It played really well last night. It wasn't even an issue. The only thing that I see was it would have been really nice to be able to get up to this top area. So I think I'm going to put a ladder in there, because all I really have to do is the candles for this and put some texture on the top of here. So I feel like before I put the texture, if I put a ladder coming down there, I think it might be cool. So let me grab my pen. Let's see if I can't prop this up so you got a better idea of where I'm going. And I do have a chunk of ladder, so it'll give me like the width of what I'm cutting. I feel like it straight back is going to land right about here. So if that's the width of the ladder, go like here. Something like that. I think that'll work. Now I got to try to cut that out without breaking it, which is gonna be, and without cutting myself, which is going to be a task. So I'm just going to go slow, and I'm just going to score these cuts. Woo, just gentle. Okay, let me rephrase that. I'm gonna try to go slow and not cut my finger and not wreck this overhang. I did find an issue yesterday playing. I did find an issue with the last community build I did, the last live stream build I did. There's a couple places that I might want to work on, which is another reason why I like to batch paint everything, because when you batch paint everything, you can set all the pieces out on the board and see how they line up before you start priming or after you start priming, or whenever. You can kind of do a couple of like setups to see how they're interacting with each other. And getting to play yesterday really showed some things. One was I had a dude climb up here. It was actually a chick, but my gang is kind of androgynous, which I like about it. They climbed up here, and then there was skirmishing kind of going on the platform next to it, but there was no way for me to get up here, so they just kind of ended up getting shot on this ledge, and that was the end of them. Whereas if there was a ladder here, they could have continued up and maybe got closer to the fight before getting shot and going down. It was a really fun game though. We did like a parlay sort of starting. I think it's called Gang Moot is the name of the mission. and I lost my nerve first, and I started shooting first, which I thought was funny. Against House Orlock and House Escher. And it was a blast. Oh, I was trying not to do, I just did. That's alright. I broke this joint apart. What do we do? I accidentally snapped this joint here, but it's not too bad. And I might just leave it because I'm going to have to put some hot glue in there anyways. I do feel like if I can, I want to take that whole little last piece out of there. So I am going to put a little bit of hot glue on this just to keep it from popping apart when I work on it right now. Hold that together for a minute. What up, silly the rain? I am working on a 1 foot by 1 foot section of a 3 foot by 3 foot gaming table for Necromunda, which is a tabletop war game, I guess, tabletop battle game, tabletop skirmish game, one of those. But yes, now that I got this hole cut here, I'm gonna go ahead and build me a ladder. So I'll move that back a little bit. These are paper straws I like to use. And these are MDF, I think they're like fairy ladders or something for making doll houses or fairy houses or something. I'm not sure, but I was like, I almost positive I can make a really nice industrial ladder out of that. So that's what we achieve. So whenever I do hot glue, I always try to smear off any sort of blob left over. It just, I feel like the blob is a very recognizable shape, and you always want to keep of the mindset of trying to persuade your audience to believe that this pile of garbage is actually some industrial building. So removing things that are subconsciously going to pull them out of their immersion is always a good thing to keep in mind. So make these ladders real quick. Then do glue on the other side. Then any sort of gap. Hey, thanks, Jude. Welcome. Feel free to ask any questions too if you're a terrain builder or you're interested in getting into any of this stuff, or if you're just like building a diorama or anything like that. I will give you whatever information I can. I'm not here to gatekeep. I'm here to welcome people into the hobby. So. And inspire people that this can be done. You don't have to pay a whole bunch of money for terrain. You can build it. You can build it and it can look pretty sick, right? So we got this done. I do like the idea of just mimicking this shape right here. Just right up onto that. I think that's perfect. Let me mark it. Mark it and cut it down. I try to cut these with a razor blade because it's a little bit smoother of a cut. Whenever I use the saw, it causes the paper to really fray. And you get a bunch of chunks of paper fuzz everywhere. Whereas with a sharp knife, you can get a real flush cut. So. And that looks great. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that in. I'm going to cover this all with texture, with wood glue and different grains of texture, so I can fix any smeared around hot glue that I totally just did all over the place. So okay. I'm liking that, right? That gives a good ladder there in the back, so you have a way all the way up to this top. It does dead end, so you're gonna dead end here. But these both worked really good. Like both of these, when I played last night, they had platforms or walkways coming off of them onto other pieces. So this was basically like a highway that you couldn't get to from down here, which was cool, but it did mean that one of my dudes was just sitting up here not doing anything for a while. With the ladder here, now that at least there's and one of my opponents had a dude that was like on another platform just off of this. He could have come down and joined the squabble that happened right here too. So that, you know, I like putting in like natural pathways on the pieces, because then you can add to it. Like I can always, you know, say I do want a ladder here, I can always just put a ladder in there when we play for a game, and somebody can go right, you know, right up there. If I really wanted to, I could have come over here and I could have tried to climb up, because you can just climb things. So it wasn't like my guy was stuck. It was just it was kind of an interesting scenario that we cobbled together. DYL, is this a model of the Springfield nuclear power plant? No, but it could be if you wanted to. It could represent that. This is a 1 foot by 1 foot piece of a 3 foot by 3 foot Necromunda board. Necromunda is a tabletop skirmish game produced by a company called Games Workshop and supported by a really cool community, and it allows me to build terrain out of garbage that looks really cool. So hell yeah. So the next thing really I need to do is I need to texture this other piece now that I have the hole cut and the ladder put in. And when I mean texture, I mean like EVA foam or what is this stuff? Granny grading. So maybe some chunks of random stuff too to look like stuff that fell on top of it. Thanks, DYL. I'm just gonna line this up and cut me a whole strip. Oh, not with the razor blade. Where's my scissors? Cut me a whole strip that fits the width of this walkway. Can you see that walkway? Yeah, you can see that walkway. It's a little at an angle, but not too bad. That gives you a little bit better view there. So, as you can see, I had already done it here. I put some sand and coconut fiber, coffee ground texture going on this one already, but I had to do this, cut this hole out, so I waited on this one. So I do want to put another bracket of granny grading in here. So I'll go ahead and do that. I've also seen where people texture this EVA foam with like different crimping things, and I think really the only thing I have that might do it, and I can give it a try if you guys want to see if it works. I definitely don't mind. I like experimenting. Is like crimping this in the over here, this metal thing right back there. That's a big old vise. So I'm going to go ahead and crimp this in the vise and see what pattern it gives me. So that was crimped in a vise. So if I did that twice, and that's really pretty easy because twice in a vise is quite nice. Oh, that was bad. Sorry. Oh, that's pretty good. You could totally do quite a bit of texture with that. It's a lot easier with the vise because you can get a lot of pressure onto it really easily. Because I've tried to use like a texture roller on these, and it kind of leaves a texture. It leaves like, it looks like it wants to leave a texture. It's like drinking those flavored spritzer water things, whatever the heck. I don't know how. My friends all drink those things. I don't know how you all drink those. Tastes like I don't know, it ain't my thing. Anyways, got some texture up on here. I think I will fill that piece out. Why not? Because that fits unnervingly perfect. So we just gonna slide that back up on there. And then I think the only thing that I really want to do, and you guys might not be able to see this, is I put texture on here already, and that's okay. But I would like to put some granny grading here just so it matches this. as opposed to being lazy about it and not wanting to put one on there at all because it's a difficult curve cut. Instead, I'm just going to bite the bullet and do that difficult cut, because a lot of times you take that little extra time to add the detail that nobody else but you will notice. Somebody else will notice and be like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And you'll be like, man, I didn't even think anybody would have recognized. Okay, so I'm just going to try to get the round piece. So might not be able to see. Let me move this over real quick. So I'm going to mimic this shape. Using this circle, which fits into the top of this, so it should be about that same size. It does go flush, and I might have to trim it, but I will do that after I get this piece fit. I can just cut down this side until it fits in. So grab my pen and mark up the rest of it. I am going to trim out little bits. I don't know if you can see where I put the green. I can. Here, I'll show you where the legs of this ladder start. Trim this down one. Great. So I got my piece cut out. Kind of a weird shape. Probably should have done that as the first piece, because then I could have just put that on top of it. But it does have a cool, simulate a cool effect when you have things coming up out of the grading. I'm going to go ahead and set this up a little bit so you can maybe see it go in there a little bit better. So there is sand and grit all over there getting into the hot glue, but that's alright. I'm going to texture everything all over the place anyway, so ouch. It isn't really wise to use your hand to smear the hot glue. It's better to use another implement. And I'm really saying that to remind myself, because I always just run my finger across it and then regret it. So, but man, you can see that now we have another piece. So these are basically matching. These don't have the texture, but whatever. This is a cool effect with that experiment with the vise. You guys might not be able to see. I did put texture in comparison to that one. So. That's cool. I think the only thing that really needs to happen is more of the sand sort of thing going on. Texture, glue, that thing. I gotta leave this area blank for now, because I still haven't figured out how to do candles, but I do need to work on this other piece real quick too. So when I was playing last night, I realized that there's absolutely no way up from these two sides. So it's great if you run in from this side and you come up, you know, you can get up here, but then this is a dead end, and that sucks. So I think, and weirdly enough, I left this little bit here without any piping on it. Usually I would try to close that off, you know, put another piece just to, but for some reason I left that blank. So I think I'm gonna build like a platform here, something here, with a ladder going down, a platform with another ladder going down, so that this corner has access to the very top, which will mean that you can go, you know, you can go in and stay in cover and then come down when you have to, you know, get to the fight, as opposed to this being a wall of terrain, which is something that sometimes you totally miss when you build it, because I built this on the last stream. This was my last live stream with the 2 bottles, but I somehow missed that would just be like a big wall is basically what that turned into. And then, you know, the next one I make is basically a big wall, but I gave it all these pathways, so it is quite accessible. It's funny how that happens. Okay, so real quick before I work on that, I'm gonna get some glue and texture on this. So I'm gonna take the spinny thing around so it doesn't get sand all over it. And I'm gonna bring out my bin of texture. Get some glue going. And usually when I do this, I do like if I can put the piece in the texture bin and just have it fall off so I don't have to sweep as much. When I do this, I try to start from the top down, and I try to hit any horizontal ledges that might catch dirt or debris. I definitely like to fill in areas that need reinforcement with it as well. So yeah, okay, we're good. I was going to try to do something else, but we'll do this first. That's fine. Little deep pockets too, I try to fill so that it you know, looks like where the dirt would build up. And I don't mind doing 2 layers or even more. I like to really put a lot of texture on there. I feel like it adds a lot. I think I'm even gonna put Just added a couple more pipes in a little gap I saw that I didn't realize was there. And you can see that, you know, some of this glue might be running and dripping off down the side. And as long as I catch the puddles and get some texture on there, I'm not really worried about it. That's naturally what does happen. You know, I mean, I'm working in the Underhive down here, and I gotta run filters and vents and stuff to keep this place from being so dusty, because every time somebody moves up above me, stuff shakes down on top of me. So I think that's enough for now. It is getting quite drippy. So just gonna take my brush and spread it out a little bit. If you have big blobs of glue, it will take a lot longer for it to glue or to mix with the sand, and what'll end up happening is it doesn't mix with the sand like a blob. It mixes in like a weird pattern, so you'll get these like weird little growths, and that is actually a cool effect that you can do if you really want to. Just if all you have is wood glue and sand, you can just take cardboard, wood glue, and sand, and you can just do layers and layers of the sand with a lot of wood glue on it, so it's like a blob, and just put the sand on there, and don't take the sand off until it's completely dry. It will make this weird sort of growth the way that the sand dries out the wood glue. So you can do that over and over, layer on top of each other, and it will build these kind of like, I don't know, it's very like desert, wind swept, I don't know, rock formations. I've done it before. Some of my first builds were like with just mostly sand and cardboard, because that's all I had. So, you know, that's the easiest thing to get access to. Straws, plastic straws. So you might notice that on this spot right here, that's the, oh, give you a better view. The spot right here, that's the exposed, the rest of the exposed styrofoam. What the hell am I trying to say? That's the rest of the exposed styrofoam. So I just wanted to get a coat of some sort of texture going on it. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do, but I just now decided I'm going to put sand on it. If I need to rough it up any more than that, I can. With this first layer of sand, there's nothing keeping it really in place, so it can be like brushed off. You saw how I had a bunch of texture in there, but I had to put that piece back on, so I just rubbed it with my thumb and the sand all came off. I mean, not all of it, but enough. I'm gonna go ahead and get some base texture around this ladder and around this statue down here, just to give it, this ladder didn't want to stick on the bottom, so I want to reinforce it. I think this is at the moment the only GW kit on this whole build. I just realized. You feel like I need more GW kit to pull it in with the other ones? I don't really. In fact, I like that it doesn't have very much. It pulls it away from the having to do exactly the GW style. And then we pour texture on it. And as you can see, my texture bin is absolute chaos. And that's how I like it. I will If like I find something that is a texture that I don't necessarily want, like say styrofoam shavings, I will try to pick them out and throw them in the garbage, but it's not a big deal. Usually if styrofoam does get stuck in there and it gets stuck on the glue somewhere, it just ends up looking like rubble anyways, so it's not really a big deal, as long as you get glue over it. Big things like this, they're never going to stick on there anyways, so probably shouldn't have them in there. So really the only thing left on this is doing the candles, and I don't know if I'm going to live stream that because it will probably be incredibly monotonous. I might experiment a little bit on my own time and then make a video of how I did it, because I was looking stuff up on how to do candles and I've only found like 2 ways to do it. 3 ways to do it, and I wasn't seriously impressed by any of them. Have you ever taken one of your custom terrain to official GW games? I'm not quite sure what you mean by games. Like, have I played, or like have I taken it to like a Games Workshop store? Because hell no, I have not taken it to a Games Workshop. I've been to a Games Workshop store once in my life, so they just were never around where I lived. No, twice. I lied. Twice. They were never around where I was, and the friendly local game store always supported my angle of weirdness. Not that I wouldn't have gone to more Games Workshop stores, they're just few and far between, and they're usually small and not really set up for like a lot of gaming. But then again, like I said, I've only been to 2, so that I can't even make that judgment call. Why, you want to go to a Games Workshop store? Oh, like a tournament? Like an official GW tournament? I mean, I've built terrain specifically for games that were, you know, part of the whole circuit for a friendly local game store. But that terrain is not like this level of detail. That terrain for 40K was like pretty simple ruined buildings, and they wanted everything to be incredibly similar, because it's a tournament and everything needs to be fair. So yeah, I've never tried to take something like this to a tournament, although if there's a Games Workshop store that wants to invite me to a Necromunda event and they want me to bring my terrain, I'll bring it. Because that would be cool. I mean, I never, never really got to experience that real side of the hobby until I got older, and then I had to basically go search it out. And I find that I'm not super competitive, I'm super narrative, and there is a division between narrative and competitive aesthetically, in the sense that narrative things can be uneven, one person can be doomed and their army can totally lose, and that can just be part of the story. But in competitive, everything needs to be perfectly even so that everyone, uh, everyone has the same starting ground to, to be fair, and I get that. I don't necessarily think my terrain is fair. Um, it doesn't. It just doesn't fall into that. But like I said, I have built terrain for that type of stuff before, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit more glue, just to try to give this a base coat around this. Just because we're looking so good on it, and we almost done. So, but I would love to, like I said, like those kind of, I think diorama-esque boards add so much flavor that it makes you want to play narrative. Like, who'd want to run it? Who'd want to play a tournament game on this? It would be just such a waste. Like the terrain pieces just become line of sight blockers and background noise. So I see the reason for having simple terrain in things like tournaments. And I do love building terrain, so that's not to say that I wouldn't build, more tournament terrain for somebody, a group or a store or something if they approach me about it. But, and I would give it as much flavor as I could, but I wouldn't press it. Like I wouldn't try to take it to, I wouldn't push the envelope on that terrain. I would make it to whatever specifications that they asked for, because it's a tournament and you want things to be even. So, and I get that. I totally do. It's not really my scene, though. That is definitely not my scene. Like, we played Necromunda last night, and it was our first game trying to learn the new... Oh, what am I doing? Trying to learn the new rules, and we did kind of like a Mexican standoff. I don't know if that is okay to say, but that's the term that I've used or heard used before. I don't know what... I guess I could just call it a standoff, huh? That's probably the more appropriate. That one dude. What up, dude? Yeah. More progress on the second one. Almost done. I'm just putting on texture right now, which I'll have to do a few layers of. I probably won't live stream all of just putting sand on glue. Just because I don't necessarily find it that interesting. I don't think you guys would. I don't know. I don't know what people find interesting. It always surprises me what different people will, what different media different people will intake and enjoy too. So yeah, we played a Necromunda game last night, and we had this standoff where all the leaders were, standing around in a circle, and we all had to make cool tests, and the first person to lose drew their gun and started a fight, and I was the first person to lose, and I just thought it was hilarious the whole way that it went down. But it was cool. It was very granular. I liked it. I definitely need to learn more so that I get in the rhythm of it. Play more so I get in the rhythm of it, because that was the problem. It was I think this one's looking pretty good. Let me clean up this sand right here, and I'll try to fix this next one over. Fix the last build I did on stream. I want to put some more ladders on it, because yesterday's game showed me where points that weren't really working on it are. And I'll go over that here in just a second. Ow! Welcome everybody. I'm building some Necromunda terrain. This is my second live stream community build that I've done. And now I'm going to go back to the first one, which is this guy, which I love, came out great. The only issue is this corner. If your gang is, if the rival gang is on the opposite side of this and you're coming from this direction, you are SOL. What up, silly? There's no way up this side. It basically is a wall. You have to come around either side to get any vertical. So I feel like there's this nice little space right here. I feel like building something, a platform, not this big of course, but something like that with another ladder going down to here and up to here. That will give you access from this corner, which is what this piece needs. I think it will work perfectly fine if I can get some sort of vertical access on this side. Although I do suppose you could just run straight through if you wanted to the other side, but it still felt like this was absolutely unused because it's a dead end up there and there was no platforms or walkways going to it. Here, I'll show you. So that's it, looking at it vertically or top down. So there was no walkways going to this platform here, so it basically just sat there. Like nobody put anything up there, moved anyone near there. It was in the corner, but I also feel like there might have been more there if there was access to the back. So I want to build something real quick and shift this back a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So this is another one of these cardboard tubes. I have this piece that goes in the center of it, so I know its diameter. And I feel like if I kind of eyeball that, we'll see how this comes out. I'm gonna eyeball that, circle on there. We're gonna cut this in here, and just gonna be gentle with it. Because there's no need to rush and cut myself or mess the piece up. Okay, so we got like a nice circumference going around. So that doesn't, I mean, there you go. That gives you an idea of what I had in my head of just a platform sticking off. I do like that. I feel like this just needs to get cleaned up a little bit. So yeah, remember proper knife safety. Don't cut towards you. All that bull crap. Don't listen to me either. So let's see if that works just a little bit better. Not bad. I don't really feel like I need it to stick all the ways to this corner, but that still might be cool. Let me just eyeball it, because I know that it can't stick out past that corner. Give it a nice squared off edge. And let's see. Okay, I do already like that simply because it gives a place to put another, I'm going to move it up a little bit, gives a place to put another walkway that's a little bit lower. And when you look at a lot of the measurements of the other pieces, it's basically done in threes. You cannot see that reflective thing. How about this piece? Can you see this? There we go. So it's done in threes, so that would give me a level. See, I kind of would rather have it up top. Maybe I can move it up. See, I like that better, because if you go from here, if we go from here, that lands at about 9, so that should be like the 3rd floor of most other buildings. So that would line up really nicely. So I think I am going to do that. It fits so snug in there that I kind of feel like I could do it floating. I like that idea of the floating. Do I like the idea of the floating? Let's see how we would support it. We could support it with a couple of these. Which would add more random line of sight blockers, which I do like. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. So, real quickly, I'm gonna pop this out, and I'm just gonna go ahead and glue on this edge and this edge. And a little bit on this edge, and maybe one on this edge. So a little 45-degree cut to start with. Some hot glue on here. Line this up so that my 45 is right there at the corner facing the right direction. And I can use this piece of the 45 that I cut just a second ago. Here. just turn this down just. There you go. There you go. See a little bit what I'm doing. I'm just gonna put that guy right there. No, I'm not. Not without hot glue. Go ahead and fill in these gaps and knock down any hot glue. Knock down your hot glue. These little blobs don't look good. So that's the beginning of our floating platform. See how it slides in here again. Nope. So we're just gonna go ahead and follow this curve on this pipe. Let's see how we did. Oh, awesome. That was a... Oops. Knocked that down. See how bad I broke it. That was a good cut there, followed by a bad accident. Not too bad. All it did was pop one of the things away from here. So I'm gonna put a little hot glue right now. And I'm gonna do more layers of texture, which will help bond that better. But not a worry. I'm gonna move it to the side a little bit more, though. I had it perched kind of precariously, so that's my bad. But this looks really cool. I like the way it is turning out. I just want to do a piece of piping right here and one on that other side because it stands out a little bit too much for me. So take that out of there and give myself like a 45-degree cut here at the end. Same on this side. Hopefully they match up pretty good. Good enough. Go ahead and put some glue, but only up to where I marked. Cool down a little bit, fill any other gaps I might have missed. All right, so Okay, so got this little floating platform made up. Gonna test fit again. That looks great. So all I need to do is do this last little bit real quick. I'm just trying to get this little piece is only really going to be visible when you're looking from through the ladder. So at first you really wouldn't notice it, but it would be the only texture like this. That means I need to go back through and put a little bit more texture on this top piece too. It's alright, I'll have to put some on here so I can do them both at the same time. So this should be cool enough that I don't break it off, let's hope. Nope. So we're just gonna let that cool a little bit. So I don't mess it up. Get a drink of water. Take a little bit of a break. Yes, no. This is not. Here, I will show you that. And I will try not to knock any of them down this time. So just gonna move the camera a little bit. I apologize for the shaky. Good, okay. So this was the one I was working on yesterday. I got it pretty much textured. The only thing I really need to do besides adding more texture sand is candles. I gotta figure out a way to do like a little shrine candles. I had a little GW bit that was like a perfect little shrine thing floating around somewhere, but yeah, I wanted to do some sort of thing like that. So that's all I really have to do besides minute detail and more texture. Yeah, but right now I'm actually working on the first community build I did live stream. So this one is super cool, but I played it yesterday and this back end, it just kind of works like a wall. So I am designing an extra little platform to fit here in the back that will allow me to give ladder access to to this top thing, so it's not a dead end when you get up to the top there. So it seems dry enough, so I'm going to try to get it in here without okay, let me see. Perfect. Okay. So I'm just going to pull this out a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and put some hot glue on the edge of this. So I don't ever have to pull it out again. Perfect. Is it level? Good enough for me. So normally not normally, sometimes I might have put texture on it, like a granny grating or something, paneling, some sort of thing like that on this as well, just to give it an extra sort of layer. But I didn't do that with this top. I just put like chunks lying around, so that's what I'll do to the top up there. Now I would like to should I put the ladder on this? Yeah, I think I should put the ladder on this corner completely. Which means I could do it like hanging off the side there, which would give access to down here, which would be cool. How many ladders do I have left? Not very many, but that's cool. That means that there's more movement going on my boards. Yes, and it also can make, at times it can make players feel like they suck at the game because they didn't realize that this terrain didn't have a passway through or around or whatever. And it's not that you suck at the game, it's that you are inexperienced with the terrain you're playing on. So I do try to make a pathway, like it doesn't have to be accessible from every side, but I do like some pathing at least over or through some way, because otherwise, like you said, it creates a dead space that, you know, nobody wants to go to that thing because it's a death trap. And that has actually been one of the best terrain teachers I've ever had, actually, is just building terrain and playing on it and listening to what the other people who are playing on it say, because they'll tell you, you know, after a few games are played on it, they'll be like, yeah, no, I ain't ever going in that building again. Like, you just get stuck. You can't get out. And that goes for other skirmish games too. It doesn't matter what brand or genre, really, as far as that goes, because that's one of the things that's always the same, is that you need terrain. Like, don't get me wrong, you can use books and stuff on your kitchen table. That's all good. But you can also use tokens for minis as well. So that's in that same vein of just like wanting to play a game, so you use whatever you can, or wanting to play the game that you play a certain way and with a certain aesthetic. Okay, we got a nice long ladder there. It looks like the last one I'll have for a while, because I only have one of these little industrial ladders left. So I am going to just mount it like that. I think that would give, really wouldn't, but see if I can slide another bracket in here that I saved. Perfect. That glue kind of got everywhere, but we don't mind as long as we just knock it down so it's not a bunch of little blobs. That's what I'm doing here, is I'm just going back through and rubbing the hot tip of the glue gun onto the shiny spherical chunks of hot glue. So knock it down, blam. Okay, do I have a mini to see height? Yeah, I'll give it to you. You can pull yourself up to that ladder. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue this on. I'm going to hope that it is okay, because the only other thing I can think is so I'm just grabbing a little bit of wire, like heavy duty gauge wire. Very rusty wire. And I'm just gonna bend it into some L hooks. You guys can't see that. I'm just gonna bend it into an L hook so that I can glue them into here and pop that into the wall so that it gives it a little bit more support. This is a cardboard box, it's not styrofoam, so it's not going to be the easiest, so I'm going to do the short end into the cardboard. And we can go ahead and just glue these in right now. And again, those little hooks I just put on there, those are just to give me a little extra support holding this ladder on there. Pull this off in front of the fan for a second. And we're just gonna put that right there, but these are still too hot and they're all wiggly. So I think to just ease that a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple little dots there, and I thought I left that drill at the little hole poker. Blam. Okay, so now this guy should be ready to place. So I'm just gonna do hot glue in these holes and 2 blobs up here. Now I'll go ahead and There you go. Reinforce this a little bit now. Knocking down any extra hot glue. Plan, looking pretty good. So we're gonna grab my scissors. Go on the chunk of this, just here in the corner. Another one right there. Looking good. I'm going to take another straw and I'm going to prop up this edge. Oh, I cut it too short. Okay, let's do another one. I'll use that. Maybe this is the better way to measure. Thanks, buddy. I am quite having a good time doing it. I got to play a game last night, which is actually why I'm building this, because it revealed a couple problems that I had with this piece, and so I'm gonna fix them. Heck, I did fix it. Cool. I dig it. The ladder is a little bit twisted on that side, but it's not bad. It does give me access, or give you access to the whole top part of this. I do need to put a ladder here. So I do have this one that was cut off of another piece that seems to fit perfectly there, so we're just gonna do a funny little cut to fill in the fascia. It's like this weird fascia tubing I did. I don't know what you'd call this, but the tubing around the edge of these platforms. Perfect, that's fine. Perfect. So then go ahead and glue that down right there. So, there you go. Build a whole ladder and a platform up the side of that. So that's got a full Oh, awesome. Cool, Matthew. Definitely. I'm trying to, I will trying as hard as I can to stream every single day for at least an hour. Um, I have been doing pretty good at doing it 2 times a day, one earlier in the day and one later, just to give, different time zones around the world to be able to check out, um, give their input, that type of thing. But I am going to actually head out too. All I really have to do is put texture on these 2 pieces again, finish up this one with more texture, and I'll probably next live video I'll probably start a new one. So I'll probably save that for tomorrow. So probably, what is it, Friday? Yeah, I'll start a new one tomorrow on Friday. So probably Friday in the morning I'll start a new build. So if you guys want to check that out, I will catch you tomorrow. If you want, I'm pretty sure that if you put a notification, it'll ping you, like Matthew said, to hit you up when I'm streaming. I haven't got a streaming schedule down yet. I don't know if I ever will, but I do get up early and I like to build when I wake up, so it's usually kind of an earlier in the thing. Earlier in the day, you can always catch my rewatch them on my channel if you miss one. Right on, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. You have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.